Has anybody else noticed this trend going around with filmmakers and YouTube influencers, content creators that exist in the world of filmmaking and cinematography and camera gear? Shooting in a 4:3 aspect ratio, or really any aspect ratio that looks a lot more square, like even a 1:1, which you see a lot of on Instagram, is just a ratio that I never really messed around too much with. I've messed with normal 16:9, and I even use a 2.35:1 to get that widescreen anamorphic style of video. But these more square aspect ratios, I just never really tried to mess around with those too much. And you see, I'm not opposed to using a more square aspect ratio like 4:3 or 1:1. It's just that I have very little experience or ideas of a use case for it in my own work. Most of the time, if I'm just shooting a quick video, something that's more of a talking head video or a product review of some kind, it's going to be the normal 16:9. When I want to showcase a lot of cool action shots or cinematic shots coming out of a camera or a lens or something like that, or even a short film, I usually try to convert it to a 2.35:1 just to give it that widescreen cinematic feel. I mean, truly, I don't think there's anything wrong with using those aspect ratios. They seem to work great and people respond to them really well on a platform called Instagram. But that's usually the places that I see it the most. I feel like there's a nostalgia trend that comes about with a lot of Instagram posts from filmmakers and camera forward content creators, and somehow giving that 4:3 aspect ratio brings about a more nostalgic feel to their videos. And that makes sense because videos on TV and stuff way back when used to be in a 4:3 ratio, so it gives a bit of nostalgia. And again, Instagram is the only place that I've really seen it a lot. I've seen a few YouTubers do it, but really Instagram is where it runs wild. And you know, maybe this is an aspect ratio that I should shoot with more just to tap into that, I don't know, nostalgic feel that it brings for people. Maybe do my own thing with it. I don't really know, but it's never been one that I just was ever drawn to. You know, I want the big cinematic look like you see in the movies. And you know, there's something to be said about it with IMAX, because IMAX is in a 1:1.43 aspect ratio or something, so it's still rectangular, but it's kind of square, and I've seen a handful of movies in the IMAX format, but, you know, I just, again, was never drawn to it like a lot of people seem to be. I mean, truly, I have no issue with anybody using that aspect ratio or any kind of aspect ratio that is non-traditional or uncommon if they can do something creative with it. Like, whatever you feel the inclination to create it. That's the whole greatness of creation, is you can do what you want. And I feel like maybe I need to venture into using a 4:3 aspect ratio or a 1:1 or a 1.43:1 aspect ratio in an IMAX format, just to maybe challenge myself and see what kind of emotions I can evoke from people with using that aspect ratio. I think there's a lot of nostalgic thing, like I've said, with it, but it gives maybe like a home movie, more intimate, personal style to things, and maybe that's what people are trying to tap into. Because to me, logically, I would think that people who gravitate towards these more square aspect ratios would be older folk, people who used to watch TV in 4:3. But it seems that it's a lot of younger people like myself and younger that are being drawn to this like retro, nostalgic style of filmmaking. I think it's great. In the end, I mean, people should just create what they want to create. That's what matters most to me, and that's the kind of people that I am drawn to the most, to watch, to follow, to interact with, to want to collaborate with. It's the people that are maybe pushing the envelopes and just doing their own thing. And there's something to be said about social media and becoming an influencer and following trends. To some degree, you kind of have to do it if you want to stay relevant on whatever platforms you're on, which usually you have to be on all of them. But the people who go out of their way to, despite having to follow trends, do their own thing and make it their own style, those are the kinds of people that I love to watch. Those are the kinds of people that inspire me to do my own thing, and that's where I draw a lot of inspiration from. It's not the typical same top 10 YouTubers that do the exact same videos constantly. They recycle the same stuff all the time, and all of the videos start to blend together. I like those who do something different. So if you're watching this and you're looking for some kind of inspiration and you just can't find it, or you think you need to follow what everybody else is doing, don't do that. If you want to use a 4:3 aspect ratio, use it. If you want to use a 1:1, a 2.35:1, a 16:9, just generic full, 16:9 aspect ratio, if that's your thing, do it. If you want to do something extremely different and try to figure out a triangle aspect ratio, do it. I mean, push the limits, push the envelope, do something different. If it makes you happy and it's what you want to create, then that's what you should create. So in the end, just get out there, create what you want to create, and don't give two shits about what other people say, and do your own thing. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you would do me a favor and watch some of the other videos you see on your screen to help me grow this new account, I would really appreciate it. All of the gear I use is listed down in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe and keep creating.